It is the Super Bowl in the world of dog shows, and millions tuned in this week for live coverage of the Westminster Dog Show, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, it is a big deal, and if you were among them, you heard the color commentary from Madison's very own Jason Hoke. But the Westminster is no stranger to Jason. He joins us now to tell us how this all came to be. Good to see you again, Jason.
You recovered?
I'm getting there. Give me a few more days and I'll be better.
Now, you've been a judge at Westminster for a long time.
I've judged there twice now, yes.
So how did this all come to be that they asked you to do the color commentary?
Well, last year I did the National Geographic daytime production, and then they asked me to step in at nighttime. So I guess it went well the first time.
A lot of homework?
A lot of homework. You had to study for every breed because we had to discuss every one. So
for people
192.
For people
192 breeds.
For those who don't know what color commentary means, explain what your role was.
So we're actually watching live, and we're talking about the breeds, the history, their purpose, sometimes about the judge, sometimes about what's happening in the ring with the handler that's showing the dogs. So there's a lot going on that we try to teach people about and promote the purebred dog sport.
And you have shown dogs. And you
I've bred dogs.
Bred dogs.
I've dogs
judged. So
yep.
You're the right guy behind the mic.
Well, I hope so. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and that was the whole point, to educate our public.
And you've been around dogs your whole life.
I have. I was born into the sport, so started with Great Danes.
Your parents raised them?
They did, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How challenging was it, though? Because you're not working with a teleprompter. This is all spontaneous.
No, there was no teleprompter.
It's all off the cuff. So how difficult was it?
It was a challenge. I mean, this was my first year doing, it was a very short format between each breed, so you had to get your points in very quick, and it took a lot of restraint to stay on track, listen to the people that were talking with you, and try to respond to them at the same time.
Yeah.
And 3 hours a night.
Over 3 hours a night. Yeah, we did a post show too, so it went on for quite a while both nights, almost 7 hours of live.
You know, and you watch this thing, and every dog looks perfect.
Yeah,
well, that's what we all hope they do. You know, everybody who brings a dog to the dog show wants their dog to show their best at Madison Square Garden.
Let's talk a little bit about the dog that won.
Sure,
is that what you were expecting, or were you surprised?
No, well, you know, it's always up to the judge who judges. You know, each day is a different day, and the judge has their hands on the dog, so we're not touching them, so we don't know what they feel like underneath that coat. And obviously, Flynn had a lot of coat.
Look at him there. Bijan Frise hasn't won since, what, the 60s?
No, I think won in the early 2000s.
Okay. So when a dog like this wins, does the breed go nuts? Everybody wants one?
Well, I think that the breed's endearing anyway, so I'm sure it's a pretty popular breed to start off with. But sure, it gets a little boost in popularity.
You judge these things. How do you tell, why is Flynn better than the other 15 other dogs that are in that group?
Right.
Well, so they're judged based on a standard. So what the judge does is they assess each dog based on their own individual standards. So even Best in Show, it's not judged against the dogs in the ring. It's judged against the dog's own individual standard. So that's what the judge looked for, is if it met the standard the best on the day. And obviously, Betty Ann Stenmark thought Flynn did it. And he looked great.
Yeah,
I thought
he really did.
Actually, I thought all of them looked great.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I couldn't choose.
They made her job very hard.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Now, what do you do in the off season? Do you go to dog shows around the country?
Dog shows all over the world. I've been to China, Japan, Italy. I'm going to Ireland coming up, and Ecuador, so all over.
That's really exciting.
It's enjoyable.
Why don't you rest this weekend?
I'm going to try.
You deserve it. Jason, thanks for being here. Congratulations. I'm not going to shake your hand.
Oh, that's right.
Let's do elbows.
There you go.
There we go. You don't want this cold. All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks for having me.